I remember when the first time I saw Manchester United play a football match, a full football match. It was in 1994, and it was against Barcelona in the Champions League. And it just become the Champions League. I think it was called the European Cup. I think it just became the Champions League, and they got beat 4-0. And it was a complete thrashing by Barcelona. Stoichkov, Romario, Jordi Cruyff. They were just a completely dominant team against Manchester United. But as you went on, you in the United States, football really wasn't really shown a whole lot in the United States. It really wasn't. You got ESPN would show a Champions League match, and then they'd show you have other matches for their international audiences only. And eventually, you started to watch more and more. A channel called Fox Sports World showed up, and ESPN would show games. Eventually, it would get to the point where you'd be watching games like you'd see the Premier League. You'd see the Premier League and all the matches, and eventually in 1999, you saw them do the treble. And of course that was beating Arsenal by I think by a point on the last day. I think they beat Newcastle 2-0 in the FA Cup, and then they beat Bayern Munich in the final of the Champions League. They were, look, Bayern Munich took off Lothar Matthäus, and that basically gave Manchester United all the direction it needed to go forward and win the game. Teddy Sheringham would score, and then Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the babyface assassin, would score and make it 2-1, and Manchester United had won the treble. And it was really an exciting experience for me. Now, I had not become an Arsenal fan yet. Okay, I had not watched a whole lot of English football. I love watching football, but I hadn't really seen a whole lot at the time. And what happened was, I basically decided, look, they're in the United States they're feeding us Manchester United. Everybody's a Manchester United fan. I was going to watch football, and I was going to see which team I was attracted to, and it would turn out to be Arsenal. I love the way Arsene Wenger managed. I love the way he saw the game, and saw the way the game is played. It was just an amazing thing, and I became an Arsenal fan. I've been an Arsenal fan ever since. But obviously, Manchester United was a team that was always winning the Premier League. Occasionally, Arsenal won it in '98, 2000, 2004. 2004, I think Chelsea then won it in 2005, 2006. But bottom line is, Manchester United has always been a top club. They have always been a top team. They've always been a team that you could count on to be there at the end. Okay. Well, what happened in 2013 when Fergie decided to hang it up? When Sir Alex Ferguson decided to hang it up, Manchester United has been in downfall ever since. And yeah, they've had their moments. They've won the Europa League. They've won the League Cup. They've won the FA Cup. But really, those have been far and few between. They have not really been a dominant team. And you look at their fans on YouTube, like Mr. Flying Pig, who basically thinks they're all horrible, and the pessimistic view, they're the horrible team. And then you look at, I guess you would call the optimist view of Alice Talks Football, where she says, no, this is just Manchester United. It's just like Liverpool of last year. They have a good chance to make it fifth, which is good enough to make the Champions League next year. Well, here's how I see it. Manchester United has been a poorly run team. Look, it's not necessarily all on the Glazers, because the Glazers, although they've been poor and they need to go, I get that. Okay, I understand that. Don't get me wrong. The Glazers were in charge in 2005, 2006, and Manchester United won the Champions League. They made it to a couple more Champions League finals that year, in that time frame. They won the Premier League. The problem is they do not have a manager like Sir Alex Ferguson. They do not have a man who can get the best out of his players. You tried David Moyes; he didn't even last a season. Then you bring in, I think Ryan Giggs took over till the end of the year, and then Louis van Gaal came in, and again, didn't work out. Then you bring in Jose Mourinho, who really hasn't been a good manager since he left Inter Milan. Okay, yeah, he did Real Madrid, but Real Madrid really wasn't very. Then he went back to Chelsea, who did Manchester United, did Tottenham. Now he's at Roma. Really not a great manager anymore. Just doesn't get the most. I mean, look, when he took Porto to the Champions League and they beat, I believe, Monaco, and then he took over Chelsea, won the title, and then won the FA Cup and won a bunch of things. He was a great manager, but again, he wasn't the answer. And then you bring in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who really was more lucky than good. I mean, they actually did pretty well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, but eventually it all went pear-shaped. And then you bring in Ralph Ragnick, and now you bring in Erik Ten Hag. And Ten Hag comes in as a disciplinarian, takes care of Ronaldo, has a great year last year with Rashford, and absolutely dominates the league. You know, actually take it back. No, he dominates Old Trafford. He dominated Old Trafford because look, they beat Arsenal there, they beat Manchester City there, they beat Liverpool there. They were a team that looked like they were on the ascendancy. Okay, but this year it has all gone poor, and the reason I think it has all gone poor and gone pear-shaped is because they do not have a cohesive unit. They are not a cohesive unit. They are not a team that knows how to play football for each other. Okay? You take the captaincy off of Harry Maguire, you put it on Bruno Fernandes, who really isn't a very good leader. Okay? And you also, instead of going out and going after probably the best striker on the market, who is scoring goals for Bayern Munich for fun, Harry Kane, you bring in Rasmus Højlund, who, you know, isn't let's just face it, he's not Harry Kane. Manchester United needs to take a step back, okay? They need to reevaluate. Look, they've lost 4 games in 7 games. Okay, out of the Premier League. Okay, they should have drawn against Wolves. Okay, they should have gotten beat by Burnley, or at least been drawn against Burnley, because they certainly didn't win that game. That was just a great pass by Johnny Evans to what's his name, Bruno Fernandes, who volleyed it in. And look, Burnley has trouble scoring anyway, so that was a. So Manchester United has been very, very poor, and look, they got Galatasaray, then they have Brentford next week at Old Trafford. This is probably their biggest week. If they don't beat Galatasaray, okay, look, the Premier League is over. They're not going to win the Premier League. Okay, they may win the League Cup again because Manchester City is out of it, and they have a chance. And I don't think the top teams really care too much about the League Cup, so they may win that. But I don't think they're going to win the FA Cup. Okay, they're certainly not going to win the Premier League. They're certainly not going to win the Champions League. But if they plan to stay in the Champions League, they need to beat Galatasaray. It's that simple. They have got to beat Galatasaray at home at Old Trafford. It is. I mean, look. Manchester United is an absolute horror show right now. I don't know that I have the answer. Okay, I really don't. But Manchester United needs to get things taken care of rapidly. They need to start playing like a team. And I guess probably the thing I would probably do is I would sit Marcus Rashford for Garnacho. That's probably what I would do. I would sit because Marcus Rashford is now playing for himself. He's no longer playing for the team. He's not scoring goals anymore like he did last year, and that is a problem. Okay, you're playing players out of position. Harry Maguire coming in yesterday and playing at forward. What the hell were you thinking, Ten Hag? That made no sense at all. And I mean, look, Manchester United. Look, as an Arsenal fan, I love where you are. I love that you're struggling, but Ten Hag may be out of a job before too long, and you'll be moving on to another one, and we'll see how that pans out. But again, I think Manchester United is one of the horror shows this season so far, and things can only get worse. They can't get better, they can only get worse unless you turn something around. Those are my thoughts. Please click like, share, and subscribe, and have a good rest of your day. Thanks for watching.